We're going to talk about Afghanistan mostly because of our guests, but when someone says Afghanistan, what do you think? Or do you think anything? Do you have any idea? Do you think, what are you thinking? How are you thinking? How do you put that in your mind somewhere? Here's a war that's been going on for going on 2 decades, and it's going to continue happening, and we, meaning the United States and then other Western allies, are going to be involved in this war and continue to be involved. And if you're paying attention to the news, you'll know that President Trump just re-upped our commitment to the war in Afghanistan. So it's going to continue. What's it mean? What do you think about? One of the things that we want to do today is just sort of open that up because we have a really unique opportunity to do that. So I just want to talk about it a little bit because it's real and real people. Next slide. So a couple quick things. I just want to kind of lay this out to you so you have a sense. Here's Afghanistan. So here's corner of Africa. Here's part of Europe. Here's Asia. Here's India, China. There's Afghanistan. There's Iran. Pakistan. Just get a sense of where it is. But there it's just a place on a map. So next slide. And so here's Afghanistan broken down a little bit into districts and into cities. It's a real place with real people. And the war is a real war. You go to the next slide. And here, real traffic jams, just like everywhere else. Cars and people and too many cars and too many people trying to drive them and not enough roads and traffic jams and frustrations and people honking their horns and just as they do at other places in the world. And here. And here's a shop where people are selling goods. And a lot of times we have this idea that Afghanistan, if you're paying attention at all, it's a really poor country. And so you look at this shop here and you say like, wow, okay, what is this? This is not in Kabul, the capital city, but nonetheless, you look at that and these are the kinds of images we often see about places like Afghanistan. It's just a war country. They've been in war for a long time. They're always fighting and look, it's poor. And next one. But then look at this, Kabul city center, shopping center. Here it is outside, the outside look, and here it is inside. So you got these two worlds, and you got real people. So when you hear about some bombing that happens in a place like Afghanistan, or maybe it's Pakistan, or the Central African Republic, or Myanmar, or wherever it is, but in this case Afghanistan, it's about real people, and the shopping center was bombed. So why was it bombed, and what's it about, and what's it look like, and how is it? But look at that. That's nice. Next slide. Okay. Real people. So this is Rafi Nadiri. And Rafi and I go back, our friendship goes back about almost 4 years. That I had an opportunity, we at WorldInConversation had an opportunity to pursue a dialogue project. And the sponsoring group was NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And they said, listen, could you start dialogues between soldiers or military cadets and civilians living in a conflict zone? And I said, yeah, I think we could do that. And your team at Penn State, meaning Penn State students, meaning people just like you all who were in Social 19 in previous semesters, but now work at WorldInConversation facilitating dialogues. Could your students facilitate dialogues between soldiers and cadets? Cadets meaning students who are in training to become officers in the military in the NATO alliance. Could they facilitate dialogues between them and civilians in Afghanistan, mostly students? And we say, yeah, we don't know, but let's give it a try. And so I found Rafi online, contacted him, and he said yes, and we said, let's go for it. And so here's Rafi with his oldest daughter, and here's his youngest daughter. Real people. Afghans, real people. War isn't just this thing that's out there, it's real. Next slide. Here they are again, Argawan and Yasmin. I spelled it wrong, Rafi, but she won't mind. Look at, cute, right? It's like Afghans. Real people with real children, real parents, just like everybody else. So this is what it's about. The stakes are high. I'll talk a little bit more with Rafi about those stakes, but these are his daughters. So even living in a war zone, these are the little girls that are living in a war zone. And they have the same hopes and dreams and as everybody else. Next slide. And here's our team, by the way. We met in India last summer. And here's our Afghan team and our Penn State team. And by the way, you all can be a part of this. Some of you who want to be a part of this, you can be part of these dialogues and facilitating and doing all of this. Next slide. And here are the Afghans killed. Look at the number going up. Keeps going up. Civilians killed. Next slide. And this is Rafi's partner, his close friend and partner, who was murdered last year for doing the kind of work of peace, working with women, working with people. He had children, just like Rafi's children. So this is real stuff. Next one. And it's not just Afghan civilians, military personnel in Afghanistan, and then here are U.S. and coalition military. Look at that. Each one above zero, and they are above zero, is a death. That's a life. Some people that you all know or could know or would know or might know who died fighting in a war in some other land. And what's that about? What do we know about it? And what obligation do we have to learn about it and understand who these people are and why they were fighting in some other place? Next one. Because what we see is, here are some Americans in Afghanistan from the U.S. Army. In Afghanistan, here's a shot. And here they are. And this is what we tend to see. What are they doing there? Why are they doing it? What's it all about? Putting their lives on the line for what? For something else, for somebody else. All really complex issues. And of course, that's what this course is about. Next slide. And then we have Lieutenant Colonel Rich Gary, who is here. He's not just this person out there. Here's a shot of, this is him in Afghanistan. Putting his life on the line. So we talk about this all the time. There are these like words out there. The military, they protect us. These people put their lives on the line for us. What does that mean? What do we really mean when we say that? And how much do we think about it and how much do we care? Here's another shot. Here's at a negotiation table. So there's Rich right here, the handsome guy right there. And these are Afghans and Americans negotiating, talking, engaging.